Hello, welcome to Ringways. My name's Nadeem. Nice to see you all again. I just want to take this opportunity firstly just to thank everyone who's tuned in on our online events over the past couple of weeks. We are very grateful. We'd also like just to ask if you could like and share the content we put on with family or friends as it may be of interest to them. Now, anyone that's watched our previous videos will know as a company we're doing everything we can to adhere to the social distancing measures. However, anybody new watching today, I'd just like to touch up on what we are doing. So firstly, when you do arrive at the showroom, we are asking everyone to hand sanitize. Since the last videos, the government have now changed the guidelines, so everybody now must wear a face mask on arrival. We're then asked to take your temperature and a few relevant COVID questions just to make sure we're keeping everybody safe. Now, in the showroom, we have put visual markers on the floor just to make sure you can see visually the distance is being kept. And also on every desk there is a screen. So if you are sitting with one of our guest experience hosts and having a face-to-face chat, it's just again to keep making sure we keep you safe. So moving on today, we will be discussing the Ford electric range. Okay, so moving on to the technologies currently available within the Ford range, starting off with the mild hybrid. Now, the mild hybrid is a conventional petrol engine which is assisted by a battery-driven electric motor. Now, although the electric motor cannot power up the vehicle, what it does do is help reduce fuel emissions. Currently, that engine is available within the Ford Fiesta, the Ford Focus, the new Puma and the all-new Ford Kuga. Okay? Now, the hybrid engine, it utilises two sources of power, both conventional and electric. Okay. Now, the vehicle will automatically switch between the two, depending on the speed of the vehicle. So, for example, if you're in crawling within Leeds traffic that we have, it will use the electric power. And if you're on the motorway, it will use the conventional petrol engine. Okay. Now, currently that is available on the Ford Mondeo within the Ford range. Okay. Now we then have the plug-in hybrid. Okay. Now the plug-in hybrid uses both conventional and electric power. It has a larger battery, so it gives further distance travel. So for example, on the all-new Ford Kuga, you can have a 35-mile range solely on the electric power. Okay. Now it's easy to charge. You have two power leads that come with the all-new Ford Kuga. So you can either plug it in at home or you can get a wall box installed through the government grant and you can plug it on there. If you plug it in within the normal home socket, it will take 6 hours and 15 minutes to charge. If you use the wall box, it takes 3 hours approximately to charge for a full battery.
Okay, thanks for your presentation then, Nadeem.
No problem.
I'm just a bit confused. There's a lot of information and lots of different technologies that you talked about there. And there's a lot of jargon as well. So I just wonder if you could answer some questions for me in a fairly simple way and give me some clear advice. So let's start off with mild hybrid. Can you just remind me again what vehicles in the Ford range are available with mild hybrid technology?
Yeah, so a nice easy start there from Claire. So it's available on the Ford Fiesta, Ford Focus, the new Puma and the all-new Ford Kuga.
Great, thank you. So if I chose to go with the Puma mild hybrid,
Yep.
Does that vehicle need charging?
So it doesn't need plugging in at all, doesn't need charging, it will just drive on the normal conventional petrol engine.
Right, so I don't need to worry about government grants, charging cables, charging points or anything like that?
Nothing at all. No.
Okay, so it's fairly straightforward.
Yep.
So could I save money if I went for a mild hybrid in any way over a conventional engine?
So naturally you will get more miles to the gallon, but it also helps reduce emissions. So for any type of company buyer, you could save on your tax purposes as well.
All right, so that's a great message then for company car drivers, isn't it? As well as, traditional customer with that's purchasing their vehicle themselves.
I just think it's a good stepping stone as well, which is obviously the future is going to be electric vehicles.
Oh.
So it's a nice stepping stone to get onto that sort of journey.
Okay, so it's a good vehicle to transition from petrol or diesel into the hybrid or electric market.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, well moving on to hybrid now then. Again, just remind me which vehicles in the Ford range you can get hybrid technology on.
So currently it's available on the Ford Mondeo.
Oh, I know the Ford Mondeo. That vehicle's been around for quite some years in the Ford range, hasn't it? Okay, so I'm familiar with the vehicle, the product itself. Why would I choose hybrid over mild hybrid?
So depending on the type of driver you are, so anybody who's driving locally. So for yourself, would you drive very local and short journeys, or?
Yeah, I tend to drive a lot of city centre. So in Leeds city centre, I would do a lot of driving
Okay,
there.
so
Yes.
perfect. Like we said earlier on, anybody doing short journeys, low speeds, driving in like crawling in traffic and stuff like that, the Mondeo, for example, on the hybrid range would just automatically use the electric power. So you will gain more miles per gallon because it wouldn't be using the petrol engine in those circumstances.
Right, okay, so I don't need to decide what mode to drive the vehicle in. I just drive as normal and the vehicle does everything for me, does it?
Absolutely. So it's very easy. So like I said, you just drive as you are. It will automatically sort out what it needs to do.
So now moving on to plug-in hybrid then. You mentioned that that was available in the all-new Cougar.
Yeah.
Can I get plug-in hybrid technology in any other Ford vehicle at the moment?
So as a passenger vehicle, it's only the all-new Ford Cougar. However, currently on the commercial range, you can get the Transit Custom plug-in hybrid as well.
Right, okay. And if I went for a plug-in hybrid, do I get significantly more miles per gallon than a conventional engine, let's say?
You do. So solely on the electric power on the all-new Ford Cougar, you can get 35 miles, which is a really good range. Combined with the petrol engine, you can get over 200 miles per gallon.
Right, so miles per gallon is over 200.
Yeah.
And the electric range, you said, is 35.
On a full charge, yes.
Okay, so that's quite good again if you're doing some city centre driving, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
So if you're anyone like you said, you mentioned local, you drive within the city centre and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you live within 10 miles from work, for example, your journey there is 20 miles, you'll get to and from work on the full charge without having to use any petrol.
And again, I'm assuming from what you said earlier with regards to emissions that the CO2 is relatively low on a plug-in hybrid.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, so I think I read somewhere it's about 30 grams per kilometre, is that right?
Yeah, so really low.
Okay, that's great. Well, listen, thank you very much for your simple answers and being able to give me some clarity.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing about all of this electric technology. It's fairly straightforward, it's clear, it's simple, as long as you're advised well.
Yep.
And from what we were talking about earlier, you've got some really good experts, electric experts here at the business.
Yep.
That are all fully trained to offer as much advice as customers need, really, haven't you?
Definitely. I think it's just getting your head around it. It is all new, but like you said, we've got the experts here to help and advise anybody that does need that assistance. So just don't hesitate to either pick up the phone or come down and see us.
Right, well, thanks very much, Nadine.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. So why would I buy a Ford electric vehicle now rather than later in the year?
So great question, Claire. So at the moment, in my previous videos, I did run through some fantastic offers available from Ford, but just to touch up on them again. So currently we have something called Upgrade and Save, whereby if you own a non-Ford of any age or a Ford over 4 years old, we would give you an extra £1,000 off. Okay. Not only that, we have 0% finance available and deposit allowances across the range, as well as 3 months deferred, which means if you buy in August now, your first payment won't go out till November. Okay. Now on top of all this, so just to clarify, £1,000 Upgrade and Save, 0% and deposit allowances, as well as the 3 months deferred. Ford have now launched an additional £500 in the month of August if you were to buy an electrified vehicle.
So if I buy an electric vehicle, a plug-in, a hybrid or a mild hybrid Ford vehicle in August, I get all of the Upgrade and Save plus another £500 off.
Plus the 0% and other deposit allowances available, yes.
Okay, so it's a good time to buy now then.
Very good time. It's a win-win all the way.
All right, well, thanks very much for your time, Nadine.
No, it's been a pleasure as always, Claire. Thank you.
Thank you.